Good evening. I know what you're thinking. The last video I had, it was it wasn't professional. I sat on my bloody couch. But I know what you're thinking. Last time he was at least sat on his couch and he had, a moderately decent outfit on and he was spitting some game. Well, I do not have time to sit on my couch today. Unfortunately, I'm trying to meal prep before I go out, shoot some hoops and break someone's ankles. But today I want to talk to you about messaging people online. Someone had slid into my DM in regards to how to message people online and how to know if they're interested. Now, this is where it gets tricky because often on some of these online dating apps, you have to match with someone, before you actually send them a message. They're obviously attracted to you or they wouldn't have matched, or they're, just swiping everyone hoping to get some sort of validation, right? But for the most part, people don't swipe unless they find you some kind of way attractive. So you really don't have to do too much to mess this up, but this is where it gets interesting. Oftentimes you'll be having a conversation with someone and it will die off. And the reason why is, I would say there's 3 reasons why conversations die off sometimes. One, they've messaged someone else, they think they're hotter, they think they have a better connection with them, and that's just the person they're focusing on. 2, they didn't like your opening message. When you've got 30 to 20 matches a day, your ego gets so filled, you don't ever take into consideration, someone else who might generally be trying to get to know you. And 3, the questions and the reciprocity just isn't there. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. If someone isn't asking you a decent amount of questions, they are not interested. I will repeat, if someone's not asking you a decent amount of questions, they are not interested. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't want anyone to be a bloody detective, right? But I'll give you an example. This was around the beginning of November, I was messaging a lady and I asked her like 3 different questions to try and get to know her, and she answered them, but here's where it got really interesting. She didn't ask me a single question back. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, she's not interested. Like, she hasn't asked me one question about me. I make it easy for women. I put a pretty decent description in my bio, right? Some women get the message and you say, hey, I noticed you play guitar in your bio. How long have you been doing that for? Stuff like that to me. I'm gonna spend an hour meeting someone face to face. But what I won't do and what you shouldn't do is if you ask someone 2 to 3 questions to try and get to know them and you use your time to try and get to know them and they don't ask you a single question back, they are not interested. You know me, I hate playing games. I think games are the bane of dating's existence. However, I myself, if I ask someone about 3 to 4 questions and they don't ask me one back, if they ever respond, which they always seem to respond to these questions, people love their egos being stroked, I'm not gonna lie. But if I ask 3 questions and they just respond, I'll just give them a thumbs up, okay, or I just say cool, like I'm done, right? Now, when you do that, when you say cool or you give them a thumbs up, there's 2 things that are going to happen. Either their ego is going to get bruised and they're gonna say, oh, wow, I can't believe it, he's not really trying to get to know me, because they can't even look back and see all the questions you were asking them because they're just dealing with an abundance of people, right? Or they're gonna be like, oh shit, like how selfish of me. Let me ask him a few questions. Or vice versa, how selfish of me. Let me ask her a few questions. So ultimately, there's only 2 ways it's going to go. And that's a good way, because if someone, you ask them all the questions and then you just cut it off and they come back and they say, what about you? What do you think about A, B, and C? That is a great sign. And you just kind of want to make sure that when you're communicating with someone, you're taking the time to get to know them, that they're doing the same for you. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's all about reciprocity. Now, I know as men, we're taught that we need to pursue and court these women. Absolutely. I would encourage you to do that. But what I wouldn't encourage you to do is don't pursue someone who's not even trying to replicate the foundation that you're trying to build for positive communication that might lead to a potential date. So like I said before, in order to know if someone's interested, it's as simple as asking questions, and if they ask you questions back. I'll give you a very brief example. if you're at a bus stop and you say to someone, or at the train station, you say, hey, how are you doing this afternoon? They'll say, not bad, thanks. How are you? In most cases. And if you're asking someone how they are online and they can't even ask you how you are back, that's the best it's going to get. That's the best. It only goes downhill from there, because that person, excuse my French, has their head so far up their own arse, they don't even have clairvoyance enough to think, they ask me how I am. Maybe I should ask them how. They don't even think about that. All they think about is themselves. And I'm not hating. If you want to be selfish, go ahead. But I would advise people who are trying to get to know someone, people who are interested will always make an effort, period. People who could take you or leave you, they're just going to keep lapping up the compliments, lapping up you asking them questions until they're like, okay, I'm done. Next. So only message people who are giving you that reciprocity and who are making you feel like they're trying to get to know you as well. Again, apologies for filming this when I'm meal prepping. Well, I'm just cutting vegetables and carrots. I'm not meal prepping. But next time I'm going to be back on that sofa and Edmund will be there.